As you know, there were other martial arts schools around a long time, like karate and kung fu, before like Muay Thai hit the scene. Muay Thai became popular in the 1980s, but I heard it arrived earlier than that, like in the 60s, through Crew Chai. You ever heard of that guy?
I have, yeah. And I think that he probably put Muay Thai on the map in America. And I think that he was instrumental in making it known, especially through the JKD community, you know, and Dan Inosanto. Dan Inosanto really brought about a lot of martial arts into the forefront just because he was like he was a sponge, he was a student. As much as he learned, I really respect him. Not only Bruce Lee's right-hand man coming up, but French Savate, Indonesian Penjak, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Muay Thai, a lot of Wing Chun, a lot of people he would bring in to just expose people to useful stuff, that type of guy that said, well, I think this is great, I want to make it part of what I do, you know, and I want others to learn it too, instead of just hiding it for himself too. I really like that, and I really respect him.
Yeah, he's trained a lot of people, from what I understand. Brian Dauber, you kind of know him.
Yeah, well. Yeah, Brian, sure. And there's been a whole group with that Thai Boxing Association of the USA. Although I don't think he had any relationship with Crew Yatong or the Sit Yatong group for the States, man, he really put it on the map.
Yeah, yeah. For those who, you know, are just chiming in on this channel and trying to figure it out, what is the difference between Muay Thai and American kickboxing?
Okay, there's a couple of intrinsic things that make Muay Thai. There's the cultural and spiritual nature, and then there's the just flat out weaponry. The weaponry is the addition of elbows, of knees, of the standing grappling, clinch. Then there's the cultural aspects of the Mongkon, the Prapajits, the walking over the top rope, the white crew, the ways and the protocol of using those things, which makes Muay Thai. And, used to be the pre-fight ceremony. The white crew has two parts, the Ram Muay and the white crew. The white crew is on the ground. Why? Crew, teacher, respected teacher. Yeah. Why is the salutation? Crew being teacher. And also, I hear some of the guys in the States kind of talk about, oh man, they shouldn't call him crew, or he calls himself crew, or something like that. It's not that big of a deal. Crew basically means teacher or coach. So you're calling your coach, which you should call your coach. You don't want to say, hey Jim.
Right, there's got to be some level of like,
come on.
You know what I mean, respect.
Totally.
Yeah.
So anyway, call him crew. You have a karate teacher, you call him sensei. You have a kung fu teacher, you call him sifu.
Right.
There you go. It just makes sense. Now, a John is a little bit more.
Yeah.
A John is master. So, and it's funny, Kriyatong, you notice I call him Kriyatong Crew.
Yeah, but a lot of people also call him a John too, right?
Here's the deal though, he didn't like it.
Oh no.
Yeah. I asked him about that. Of all people that should be a John, how come you don't use that? And he just laughed and he said, man, that's for the old guys. I don't really, he didn't dig it, you know? He was more like the people's teacher, you know, that felt more relatable, and he was, you know, more like an older brother or dad. And so he preferred that crew. When I first started teaching, I didn't, I don't know if I should use crew or whatever, so I was using coach. Everybody's calling me coach. And that's fine, whatever you want to use. Doesn't matter. I don't have a problem with it. Crew Toy didn't like it. Kriya Tong's son didn't like it. He's like, Walter, you should have your guys call you crew. So ever since then, I said, it's better to use crew. He just says, do them right. And I feel an obligation carrying a name like Sityodtong Tong, and also being white.
Yeah.
I'm not Thai.
Right.
I'm not even half Thai. I'm just some white boy from Indiana, from the Midwest, that got lucky. And worked hard. It's hard work too. Luck, hard work, natural ability, maybe in that order. A lot of luck, a lot of hard work, and then a little natural ability. If you ain't got those, you're probably it's not gonna happen.
Well, I think, it comes with the territory too, out of respect. All that you've done to keep tradition alive, keep the Sityodtong Tong name going, right? Why shouldn't you be called crew? You are a teacher, you know what I mean? So I the internet.
I know, bro, but they got the haters.
Yeah.
They got the haters.
There always is. There's always somebody that just has a bad chip on their shoulder.
But there's a lot of really cool people too. There's a lot of people that do dig it. And you know what? There's a lot of good schools here, especially in California. There's a lot of guys teaching a lot of really good Muay Thai. There's a lot of good schools popping up. There's a lot of them that have good experience too.
Yeah.
It's not just Sityodtong Tong, but there's a lot of different places and guys doing really good stuff. Take MMA.
Okay.
When I first got into MMA, I was like, man, these are rude. I went to a show and I had a guy fighting on the show, and I'm the stand-up coach, okay. And I'm wrapping my guy's hands. One, there was no hand wrappers, right? And there was just, most of them were like from jiu-jitsu schools or whatever, so that wasn't their thing. And I had some guy come up to, hey man, I'm up in 2 fights. Can you wrap my hands? He thought I was a hand wrapper. And I got kind of pissed at that time. I was like, what the But it doesn't have to be that way. There are also a lot of people in MMA, real respectful, real down to earth. The Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu thing. Those guys are shaking hands and, in between their rolls when they're, cranking the shit out of your arm or your neck, and
that's the one thing that I liked about like Thai fighters, and obviously when growing up around Thai people, it's all about respect, and there's really no trash talking,
Not really, maybe a little bit, and sometimes it happens. And if you genuinely don't like somebody, go ahead and say what you want to say, but it shouldn't be a fake thing just to hype something up necessarily.
Right.
But it makes for good drama.
Yeah, I think it's part of the culture here too, because I think it started like
WWE.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Like
so but I feel like it's not doing right by martial arts. That's just me, because I grew up with the notion that, you learn martial arts to become a better person, spiritually, mentally.
That's a higher mindset too.
Yeah.
That's a higher viewpoint. That's going to take you to another level. See, some people are stuck in the physicalities and the violence.
Right.
And they'll never ascend out of that either. But for the most part, and this applies to life, I had someone tell me something that, I really liked hearing this too. They said, treat other people how you want to be treated, and you'll never go wrong. And that's so true, man.
It is.
If you can treat other people how you want to be treated, you'll never go wrong. But that might mean you might talk on someone before a fight, because you know what? I want to be fired up too. Let's go.
Yeah.
Right. Give me a good fight,
Yeah. Now, when Muay Thai kind of first arrived on the scene or started competing, I'm getting an understanding that it wasn't welcomed with open arms, Muay Thai.
Well, like anything else, if you don't understand it, and you always have that veil of ignorance that can be in certain aspects of anything. And I think the first time seeing people do things like kick the legs, knee to the head, or use elbows, it's shocking, man. I mean, and you've seen, you know, fights in the stadiums in Thailand. Not so much anymore, but in the old days, like at Old Lumpini Stadium,
oh,
it was
glorious.
crazy, man.
It was glorious.
That was. I remember being there. You could almost smell death in the air. I mean, it was like almost like more like the chicken fights than it was humans, you know. And that appeals to certain people, and it turns certain people off. But once you start to realize the science of it and the actual techniques and what they were doing, and you knew a little bit about scoring and about the actual game, then you appreciated what was, you know, skill and talent. But that was something that would, you know, it was shocking.
I watched an old video a while back. It was in 1988. It was a match between Rick Rufus and Chang Puat.
Kai Song-grit.
Yeah, thank you for that.
Legendary, yeah.
And you know, that was honestly, watching the two go back and forth exchanging, it was a damn good fight, you know?
I agree.
And the Thai fighter won eventually. It looked like it was losing, but I thought it was amazing because that's when you got to see how Muay Thai worked. After that fight, just people just talking bad about Muay Thai, you know, that it's dirty fighting, or it's not you know, very talented to kick low kicks and stuff like that. And I'm just thinking to myself, you know, yeah, like you were saying, it's ignorance.
Well, that was a turning point in Thai boxing, in America especially, but maybe throughout the world. And Rick Rufus, I know Rick, he's a great fighter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I saw he broke the Thai guy's jaw.
Just a different style, though.
Right.
Different style. You know, his thing wasn't leg kicking, and I think the Thai fighter kicked like a elephant power, man. Chang Puat. I mean, whoa. One of the bigger Thai fighters too, with a lot of power, man. Whoa, I wouldn't want to have to, be wheelchair bound after a fight like that, man.
Yeah.
I remember the first time I fought Muay Thai, I fought a Laotian kid, and man, I won, but I couldn't walk for 2 weeks.
Wow.
And he just battered my legs, man. And I checked him too as many as I could, man, but it was horrible, man. So I think that was the exposure to us Americans of Muay Thai, was getting kicked in the leg. And you know what they call Jot-yang, right? Jot-yang to flatten the tires.
Yeah.
That's what it's like. You're getting a flat tire.
Taking out the enemy's weapon.
Made me a believer like that.
Yeah.
The first time I got kicked in the leg.
Me too.
You know? All of us.
Yeah.
I mean, that was the rite of passage.
Yeah.
You know? So that's one of the reasons that fight was so, you know, monumental. And, Rick Rufus he was the top of his game, especially at that time. And his brother Duke, a lot of Muay Thai experience. Now he's a really highly regarded MMA coach. Yeah, I mean, that was a legendary bout. And I think that, you know, there were certain people at the time that maybe they didn't want Muay Thai to succeed. Maybe they wanted it to remain karate and boxing mixture, which was the American kickboxing or whatever.
Do you think that was more of like a business thing, or?
Gosh, I don't know, but there was a time period when, you know, Muay Thai was really, really small, and it was an underground little cultish thing.
Yeah.
And you know, thank God that changed.
Yeah, I mean, because it's gotten way much better now.
Oh yeah,
So much better. Now, do you feel that people still hold a lot of animosity towards like Muay Thai today?
no.
No?
I think it's, especially with them using it in the UFC and ONE FC, which is an awesome promotion too. So is UFC. I mean, Bellator, they're all great, and you know, guys are using that stuff. If you don't have Muay Thai in your toolbox, you're done.
Yeah.
I mean, if you don't have decent hands, decent boxing, decent Thai boxing, and decent wrestling and jiu-jitsu. It's like a chain. It's like links of a chain. If one of those links isn't there, the chain's gonna break.
Yeah,
You know?
I think the UFC really helped expose like how good these. Because that's all you have now. I think you can do jiu-jitsu or
It does, and they did their homework too. I mean, Mark Delgado works with the UFC. You know, I'm sure he's doing some technical advising too. Joe Rogan's been around. He knows what he's talking about. You know, you can tell. You know, and you ever see him kick the back?
Yeah. Oh yeah. He used to do, what was it? He used to do Taekwondo, right?
Yeah, he's got some like amazing spinning back kick.
Yeah, I've
power,
seen
too.
it.
You know, another one that you know is involved in the film and TV world, really fight too, is Mario Lopez, the actor.
Okay.
Yeah, when I was a wild card, I had boxed with Mario a couple. That dude can box, man. And he hits like a hammer too. I mean, he's no joke. You know, good athlete. You got to take him seriously. It's like Keanu Reeves playing John Wick. Okay, Keanu Reeves is the real deal. I mean, and you know the guys I shoot with, Terran Tactical. You know, Terran Butler trained Keanu.
Yeah.
Spent a lot of time with him. And the director, Chad Stahelski, I mean, they're the real deal. They're not just like doing it for the movies, and that comes through, that shows through. And people are not dumb today, you know. They see reality and they appreciate quality and taking it to the next level.
Now let's talk about the LA Muay Thai scene. When you think of LA Muay Thai, what comes to your mind?
Well, of course, you got Thai Town in LA, which is like, I've had people stay with me from Thailand, you know, and didn't speak English, and they're kind of freaking out, like, oh man, what do I do? And put on my die, you know. They're like worried about it. And I take them to Thai Town, you know, and all the signs are in Thai, you know, all the restaurants and all the stores and everything, they're all speaking Thai, and they're like totally at home. And it's an American thing. I mean, you know, it's a melting pot, and I think that that is one of the best things about it. Also, Hollywood having Thai New Year in Thai Town, Songkran Festival, which is huge. I don't know if anybody else even does that inside of Thailand. And North Hollywood Muay Thai Academy, that was another thing. That is a historical place. You know, Krupak's still around. All the well-known, like Seksan Janjira.
I was gonna say that.
You know, yeah, Seksan's a legend, man. He is. I mean,
because that's after your first trip from Thailand. That's where you came back to train at before opening, right?
Seksan was the one that introduced me to Sama. And yeah, he is. He's a pretty amazing guy. And all Kurex, I mean, they all kind of, you know, made their bones at North Hollywood Muay Thai Academy.
That was the spot.
Yeah, it really was legendary. Another thing too with the LA Muay Thai scene was smoker fights.
Yeah, I was gonna get into that too.
Right?
But since we're here
Smoker
now,
fight, the illegal. Well, they weren't illegal back then.
it was definitely underground feel to it though, but it was in gym, right?
But you know what? Nobody got hurt. They were run really well. Everybody had tons of experience, so we knew what to do. I mean, you got guys that are like technical advisors for the athletic commission and working with the athletic commission as referees, judges, the whole deal.
Were you allowed to keep your record if you won in these smokers?
I don't think so.
No.
I don't think it counted.
Oh, okay.
No. It was just bringing the levels of everybody up in terms of having more experience. Like they could gain so much experience. Like Josh Aragon, he was a little kid. I'd bring him up to fight smokers. Man, he had like 30 fights before he fought, you know, in sanctioned stuff, you know, and fighting adult men too. You know, I mean, I think bend rules maybe a little bit, but it was never. Coaches, we would care for our people.
Of course, you don't want to damage your students,
No,
you know?
I mean, we don't throw nobody under the bus.
Right.
And I don't think that the Thais there had a lot of integrity, and they wouldn't allow that to happen.
So So they finally, somebody stepped in and.
Well, I think that they probably saw the fact of losing money. Like these guys are doing their smokers all on their own.
Yeah.
You know, there's no athletic commission. There's no, anything, no licensing, no, renewing of any licenses. There's no income with it. And that's probably the main thing. I don't think safety was a really big issue. You could use that, but I don't know of anybody ever really getting hurt in them other than maybe a bloody nose.
Right. Typical stuff.
Getting your bell rung a little bit.
Yeah.
Which could happen in sparring anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Now, when Muay Thai started, trying to make a name for itself out here, I'm guessing like the first challenges were between kickboxing fights. You had Muay Thai fighters versus kickboxing guys, right? Can you tell me about how we were finally able to get actual like Muay Thai sanctioned fights? It's just pure Muay Thai.
I think that the man that can be given the credit for doing that is Vut Kamnart.
Okay.
Vut really, Vut was a real likable guy, and he was a smart man. He actually got the commission to let him use knees. I mean, he was the first one to allow knees. I mean,
and this is in the 90s.
Yeah, when I first started fighting, I mean, there was no knees. I mean, just you could kick the leg and you could box and so it was basically like kickboxing, like K1 almost.
So you couldn't use all.
No clinch, no knees, anything like that. And then Vut came out and he got him to do that, knees to the body. And at that time, they only allowed knees to the body for the pros too.
Oh.
So the pros were still not doing knees to the head or elbows. So I think it was maybe 2000 when they finally allowed elbows and knees to the head.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a long time since arriving.
Well, when it was allowed was about the time when they had the first UFC in LA, and Hoist Gracie fought Matt Hughes, and was at Staples Center, and I think that was pressure to, hey, these guys are using elbows, they're grappling and stuff like that too. We're going to have to allow Muay Thai to do it, or I don't know if someone petitioned for that or whatever, but it made sense.
Right.
So after that, all of a sudden, bam, full Muay Thai rules, and we were like, man. And
it's about time.
I came out of retirement to fight again too at that time. I probably shouldn't have did it. I was already getting too old, and had to. It's like, wow, if we're gonna fight real Muay Thai, man, I gotta do this.
Now, were we allowed to use like the Y crew at first, or are they still?
That would depend on the promoter. I mean, time was a constraint, especially if they had it on television. So some promoters will say no Y crew, or now you hear a lot, just seal the ring, no Y crew, or 1 minute, you get 1 minute to do it, or something like that. And I'm fine with that. I think if it's going to be a Muay Thai fight, you probably should allow the Y crew, even though there's some really top level promotions that don't allow it for one reason or another, maybe television or whatever, but I think it would be better because it does show the whole package, and make it short, no problem. Even in Thailand, it's pretty short.
Yeah, I hear a lot of people say like it's not Muay Thai if you're not keeping to the traditional stuff.
Well, we can only do what we can. Lion Fight is a top level Muay Thai show. I think one of the best out there. They don't allow a Y crew. I don't know the reason behind that, but Scott Kemp puts on a great show.
I think it could be a couple of reasons why. Maybe.
I'm sure he knows what he's doing, but it's
I don't think American.
Cool show. So you gotta weigh things out. It's worth it to do it, so that's okay. And you know what? It's not the end of the world either. I mean, if we can do it, let us do it. If we can't, okay, fine.
Right. Yeah. I believe so, but I think it's good to, because in Thailand some people just go for the Y crew sometimes too, because they if you get good enough and you pay attention, you know which school it is without even announcing who it is sometimes.
Not so much anymore, but used to be that each camp would have a different white crew.
Right.
I know the original Siyatong camp white crew, the Changchu one, but not so much anymore. And also, a lot of people don't like it. They think it's, boring, or it's, and I have seen this too. Some people that drag it out too long and doing too much of a repetitive.
Shouldn't take 5 minutes
No.
to do a white crew.
Unless you're like Nong Toon doing the combing your hair and all that.
Yeah.
Or it's a little show. I mean, I've seen guys do some really cool sagat. I mean, do a really crowd pleasing, like it can be really entertaining.
Yeah, it depends on the individual, I think, because then people are like, I'm gonna stay and watch.
You get a really good Thai style dancer with that animated look, and they're a good showman.
Yeah,
It's awesome.
Right,
It's awesome, and the crowd loves it. So I like it. As a fighter, I always liked it, and I'll tell you why. I want a spiritual connection,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
If you're going in there by yourself and you're all alone, it's not a good feeling. If you're going in there, there's a lot more behind you, and it's something you can't touch, taste, or feel, but it's there, right? And you're in there. Y crew should be almost like your last rites, like a warrior ritual, like the samurais drinking the rice wine before they're going to meet their death.
Yeah,
That's
exactly what
that's
I
a
see
white
it
crew,
as.
right? And if you realize that, and that's your goal and what you're trying to adhere to, and you're purveying that type of vibe, it's amazing.
And also, it's good to like warm you up too, right?
Oh yeah!
Calms the nerves,
Well, they used to use it as to see the surface of the area they were fighting, to stomp around. I mean, it does warm you up. It calms your nerves in that you're thinking about doing something else that you're not going to be, you're not thinking about the fight. Another thing that's cool is psychologically. Take psychological, the aspect of your opponent, maybe he doesn't do one. So your opponent's not doing the white crew, you're doing the white crew by yourself,
Yeah.
right? What's he doing? Waiting. What's he doing? Thinking, pacing. He's nervous. You're making him wait more. So that's a pretty damn good tactic.
Yeah, yeah.
It can work to your advantage. It can be advantageous.
Now, what's the importance of sealing the ring?
I think sealing the ring would be, it's the whole package. I mean, you're sealing the outside of the ring, the actual soil. They believe that you come from the soil. That's why you see in some they have a little bit of sand, they drop it on their head before they walk in the ring. Sealing the ground outside, sealing the outside of the ring, walking inside, sealing the inside of the ring, and then sealing the floor itself. So it's basically making the domain yours.
And just like getting rid of like negative energy and stuff like
That's
that.
what it is. That's what it is. I mean, like you almost see a priest walking around sprinkling holy water.
That makes a lot of sense when you put it like that. Music, Muay Thai music. Do you feel that has any effect on the fight at all? 'Cause some of these people, they're watching for the first time and they're like, what is this crazy music? But I see the fighters, they get into their rhythm, Do you feel like it has a positive effect on everything during the Muay Thai fight?
I can't see fighting without it. It's just like part of it. And I don't know, when I first heard it, I was like, wow, this is just, I'm a musician too, so naturally I'm going to be intrigued by that. But the rhythm is very polyrhythmic. There's several rhythms going on. It's not on a downbeat, so it's not like a 4/4 time of Western rhythm. There's a lot of upbeats every like 5 or 7 beats is an upbeat, and I think that Well, the bands that play live that dictate it go to the rhythm of the fight and the intensity. It builds an intensity later on in the fight, and also the rhythm of the white crew would be different than the rhythm of each round of the fight too. So it kind of matches what you're doing. So it's like
they're pacing with the what's going on, the action. Is that what you're saying?
It matches what you're doing, and it's going to be like you have a car with a black paint job and radial tires or whatever, and then this car has a convertible top. It has some graphics on the paint job. It has some nice rims, and it's tubbed out with bigger tires or whatever. So it's got a little bit more that fits it.
What advice can you give to people that are a little shy or have not an open mind to some of the traditional aspects of a Muay Thai fight? Like, let's say you got I don't want to hear the music, I don't want to see the white crew. What advice can you give them to help them maybe just be a little bit more open-minded about it?
Well, I think that's going to be a problem. If you're not open-minded about anything in life, you're going to hold yourself back, and there's going to be things you're not going to experience because of that. But I would just say, well, for one thing is, if you want to really get exposed to Muay Thai, you might have to get your ass kicked. You might have to learn it the hard way, if you're like me. Or if you like cultural aspects, you'll go a lot further. I noticed that when I learned to speak Thai, I was able to learn a lot more in Thailand, especially from teachers like Kriya Tong did speak English. Kuchard, most of them. But if you only have teachers that can speak English, you're going to get a limited amount, and so that's going to be something that, if you expand yourself, the whole picture is going to get bigger.
Yeah, and that's just on life.
Where do you want to take it? Yeah. Where do you want to take it?
Now, do you think sometimes it's these promoters and shows that kind of also cater towards those types of people too, maybe? Do you think they could do a better job and help, because where I'm going with this is basically building an appreciation, even slowly if possible.
Yeah.
I mean?
Well, that's good. That's good, Pat. I mean, that needs to be done. But I think some promoters get a bad rap too, like, promoters are just out for the money or they're this. Now, most of your promoters, I mean, they're really out for the good of the sport and trying to build this. And if you've ever tried to do any promotions or promote a show, you're gonna eat shit for a while, and you may lose money for a long time. I mean, there's been a lot of people that have lost money, and they're like, forget it. I can't just keep doing that. Maybe their expenditures were in the wrong areas, I don't know, but I think for the most part, they've got the right idea. So the more shows we have, the better. And I think it can only be a good thing.
What are some of the other challenges that we have facing us today with Muay Thai in America?
The thing about America, Muay Thai is relatively new, kind of like soccer. Football and baseball and basketball have been around forever. Soccer's just been coming up, nobody else in the world even calls it soccer, they call it football, right?
Yeah.
And we're slow, the rest of the world's metric, we're, conventional.
Yeah.
Muay Thai is relatively new, so we're playing catch up, and that's a problem. That's a big problem,
Yeah. I mean, it's the national sport over there, and I just remember...
Hard to compete with that!
Yeah.
But
we're getting better, we're getting kids doing
way
it.
Better.
Starting at younger ages and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it's definitely gotten better. Where would you like to see areas of improvement of what's going on now in Muay Thai in America? What are some of the things that stand out to you, like this needs to change?
Well, for one thing, I would like to have a stadium or venue that is all Muay Thai every weekend, and maybe even during the week, you know, a fight or two.
Yeah.
You know, and I would like, because then we would be able to promote it more.
Right.
You know,
get these guys some money.
Another thing is, I would like to see the ability to promote goods and equipment and endorsements and sponsorships, things like that. For instance, I'm a competitive shooter.
Yeah.
I like the way the competitive shooting world. I'm sponsored by a couple different companies now, and they're smart. They're smart. They give you gear, and you almost have to be sponsored in this game too, because it's expensive. I mean, you know, the guns, the ammo, you know, the daily stuff, all the range gear, the glasses, the ear pro, the, you know, timers, all the stuff you need to use. I mean, if you had to do it on your own, totally it'd be, you know, almost not happening. They're smart. They'll say you're a sponsored shooter, when you get a discount code with a certain company, LA Police Gear, Terran Tactical, whatever, you know, these guys are making really good stuff. Terran Tactical, you can use Walter SYT and get, you know, 10% off. And people like that, man. They want to, hey, I want to save some money. I want to get some cool gear like that too. This athlete uses it. Wow, I want to be like them. I'm not saying me necessarily, but anybody.
Right.
So I'm going to use their discount code. I get a better deal. They get, you know, a kickback or something from people using their code. That's all going to be part of, you know, registered in the system. And the company sells more product, so we all make more money. In fighting, we don't really have that. I mean, not that I know of. I mean, I would like to see that. So hey, you could put this company on your shorts or your t-shirts, your walkout shirts, whatever you make, and they have a discount code or something like that. But what are you going to sell? Boxing gloves, pads? There needs to be more, you know, not just apparel too, but I mean, more equipment of some type. I don't know, maybe I'll think of something, you know, or design some stuff that we can do something like that with. I haven't yet, or maybe I'm giving some ideas, you know, throwing some ideas out there for other people, which is fine. Yeah. And I think that could blow it up, because everybody wins.
And there isn't really any marketing out there or TV ads on like Muay Thai events coming up, right? Because we had there was a big show this past weekend. I mean, there was some really great fights, you know, and it wasn't all that filled up, you know, and I like going into a venue and seeing so many people in there that, you know, I just feel like Muay Thai isn't promoted as much out here, and I would like to see that more often, you know.
Well, it costs money, you know.
But there's money in it, because like,
there can be.
Muay Thai is like so action-packed, you know, and I like I said, I grew up in Muay Thai watching it. I mean, yes, I like, you know.
Yeah, but you're Thai, bro. You know, maybe the word itself, Muay Thai, you know, puts it in a category of being Thai.
Foreign.
You know? Yeah. Maybe that's it. I don't know. I don't think. It never bothered me, but some people may. I don't dig that or whatever. You know, they don't.
Yeah, I understand. It is
not accessible to them. I really don't know about that. Maybe they're not going to change the name. So.
Well, maybe it could be an event. You know what I mean? But I would like to see, you know, a stadium with Muay Thai fights every weekend. You know, because
that's it.
You know, I want to see.
How about a Muay Thai stadium?
Yeah.
Yes.
Why not? I mean, that'd be the ultimate goal. Because
in a pretty major city too.
Yeah, LA had to be. Because growing up watching Muay Thai, I watched it with my grandfather. You know what I mean? And I've always loved seeing it on TV whenever it came on in the movies or whatever.
Totally,
you know, I just got excited. It was like, oh my God, I remember this when I was a kid, whatever, right? And then later on, I got introduced to, you know, MMA or UFC in the 90s, right? And I like it, but there's a part of me that's kind of similar towards the people who are just American boxing fans, where they like to see just stand up fighting, you know? I'm not down talking MMA at all. For me,
Well,
I
I don't
love
know if
Muay
you
Thai.
can please everybody,
Yeah.
too, but I totally hear what you're saying. Muay Thai hasn't gotten to the forefront.
Yeah, and the
I
action
would
is
love
there.
to see a stadium, here in America.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be in LA. Here's the problem with LA and California in general is the government and the taxes. I mean, the taxes, it's just not small business friendly, and if you're gonna have a business like that, you just don't want to lose money, and losing money can keep things from happening, in terms of growth. It definitely will.
So for anybody out there that's thinking about trying Muay Thai, just finding out for the first time, what would you say to them if they're interested in trying to take the class?
I would say definitely do it. Have fun, enjoy it. Don't be nervous or scared or...
Yes, because that was my first instinct when I first came in. I was like super intimidated.
Yeah.
It's like all these guys, that look, especially you when I first met you. You were always cool with me, but I was definitely intimidated by you when I first met you. You're a super cool guy.
Well, I think that we have to get over that with anything in life is to cross that bridge to get to the other side. And I think there's a lot to offer with Muay Thai just in terms of the physicality. You're going to get in great shape.
Yeah.
I mean, cardio is king, and it's cardio like none other. I mean, boxing's great, but you're not kicking, you're not kneeing, you're not grappling, you're not, a little bit, but it's just more. And practicality in terms of self-defense. People say, oh, self-defense. You really don't have any self-defense move in Muay Thai.
That's not true.
Well, you can, but here's the deal. If you've been in a street fight, it's like this. Pretty much someone grabs you or they tag you and you're fighting. That's the way it is. It's not this move and that move and that move and this move and then memorize it. You got a series of moves. Yeah, I guess you could break it down like that, but how do you react to a right hand punch? How do you react to a right kick? How do you react to a left hook coming at you? Or someone grabbing a hold of your neck and grabbing you around the waist? And that's pretty much fighting, and it happens pretty quickly. So I believe that fighting itself has to be trained in terms of reaction. And reaction, because you don't have time to think things out. I don't have time to do that thought process. I do this, I do that, and then I have to do this before I do that. And it has to be done as a reaction. In order to do it as a reaction, you have to do it through repetition. That means you have to do the same thing over and over 1,000,000 times so you don't have to think about it. Because you have to think about it, it's too slow. And it has to be done quickly and automatically, and that's done through repetition.
Right, it becomes like a reflex.
Exactly.
Right. Where do you see yourself in 10 years from now?
I wanna defy age as much as possible. I wanna be able to enjoy what I'm doing. So I can see me still doing the same stuff at that point in time with making a few adjustments here and there. I like to, do a few different things. I mean, there's a lot of things I haven't done, and haven't seen, and we got a short life here, man, I mean, we're talking about, was it you and I were talking about dogs and, the short life they have, because my big dog's getting older now.
Yeah.
And it's going to be that time, I'm already dreading it. He's walking slow and this, and, it's getting tough, and be that time when, you have to reach the end, man. And as humans, we go through that too. So, want to experience as much as possible. And like I said, I was put on this, earth to guide others in this, in the Muay Thai, it's, my tool to do that, and influence people in a positive way.
Clearly.
Yeah. So that's just what I'm going to be doing for the rest of my life.
Okay. Well, anyway, I would like to close by thanking you first of all for this interview.
Thank you.
And I want to let you know that I appreciate meeting you all those years ago. You know, because you've changed. You were the beginning of my turn in my life of becoming a better person.
Look at you, man. Yeah, I remember first meeting you too.
Yeah.
I mean, not only physically, you know.
And I would like to say, you know, it's awesome seeing and getting to know you as a person, allowing, you know, Muay Thai and Thai culture into your heart. It means a lot. And thank you for spreading the knowledge. Kap Kun Mai.
Like how?
All right.